In a dusty, forgotten village, where the land was dry and the hills were bare, lived a quiet man named Samuel. He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, and most people barely even knew he was there. But every single morning, long before the sun even thought about rising, Samuel would step out of his small house. In his hands, he carried a simple bag of seeds and a small shovel. He would walk 4 miles, deep into the empty, desolate hills. And then he would begin to dig. One hole, then another, then another. Inside each small opening in the earth, he would carefully place a single seed, covering it gently with soil. He did this day after day, week after week, year after year. Samuel planted trees. At first, the villagers just laughed. "Look at him," they'd say, shaking their heads. "Planting trees in this bone-dry land. Nothing will ever grow here." Some openly called him crazy. Children would sometimes trail behind him, their curious voices piercing the silence. "Mr. Samuel, why do you plant trees when there's no water?" Samuel would always turn, a gentle smile on his face, and give the same simple answer: "Because someone will need shade someday." The children didn't understand. The adults didn't either. But that didn't matter to Samuel. He just kept planting. Years began to pass. The tiny seeds, against all odds, started to sprout. They grew into small, fragile plants, and then, slowly, into young trees. But the process was painfully slow. Some of the saplings died in the harsh sun. Others were broken by storms. But Samuel never stopped. Every morning, he was out there, planting. Every evening, he was there, watering and caring for his growing family of trees. One day, a traveler was passing through the village and noticed something strange. Scattered across the previously barren hills were hundreds of small, green trees. The traveler looked over at Samuel in the distance. He watched him digging another hole, sweat beading on his forehead, his hands caked in dirt. Yet, there was a profound peace on his face. The traveler walked over and asked him directly, "Why do you do this?" Samuel looked up, not at the traveler, but at the young tree beside him. He replied quietly, his voice filled with a distant memory. "When I was a boy, this land was green. There were trees everywhere. Birds sang every morning, but people cut them all down." He paused, the weight of his words hanging in the air. His hair turned from brown to gray, and then to white. His strong, steady steps became slower, more deliberate. But every single day, without fail, he carried his bag of seeds and planted more trees. By now, thousands of trees covered the hills, a testament to his unwavering dedication. And with the trees, life returned. Birds began to fill the air with their songs again. Small animals rustled in the undergrowth. The climate itself began to change. As rain started falling more often, the land was slowly, miraculously, coming back to life. But Samuel never celebrated. He never sought praise. He simply kept working. Quietly, humbly. Then, one cold winter morning, Samuel did not leave his house. For the first time in decades, his familiar figure was missing from the hills. The villagers noticed his absence. They went to check on him and found Samuel lying peacefully in his bed. He had passed away during the night. The man who had spent his entire life planting trees for a future he would never see was gone. At his funeral, only a few villagers attended. It was a quiet, somber affair. But then, something unexpected happened. The traveler from all those years ago returned. Only now, he wasn't just a traveler. He was a journalist, and he had brought cameras with him. He was there to show the villagers something incredible. He projected satellite photos onto a screen for everyone to see. First, old pictures of the land from decades ago, dry, empty, and lifeless. Then, he showed the most recent images. The screen was filled with vibrant green hills, a dense canopy of thousands of trees, and the glint of flowing water. Wildlife was returning in abundance. The entire area had been transformed into a thriving forest. And it was all because of one man, Samuel. The news spread like wildfire. People from distant cities came to see the forest with their own eyes. Scientists arrived to study the incredible ecological revival. Environmental groups praised the transformation, calling it a modern-day miracle. But the villagers, they knew the truth. It wasn't a miracle. It was something far more powerful. It was patience. It was dedication. It was the quiet, unshakable belief of one man who cared about the future. Years later, the government officially designated the area as a national park. They named it Samuel Forest. At the entrance, they placed a small, humble statue of a man with a shovel, and beneath it, etched into a simple plaque, were the words, "He planted trees for people he would never meet." Today, children play in the cool shade of those very trees. Families spread out blankets for picnics on the soft grass. Birds fill the sky with color and song, and the once dead land is teeming with life. All of it, every leaf and every blade of grass, exists because one man decided to care about tomorrow. So remember this story. You don't have to be famous to change the world. You don't need a fortune. Sometimes, all it takes is one small, simple action, repeated every day. Done with patience, done with love, and done with the faith that what you plant today will grow tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire.